Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to ET Drone Home Gaming and our broadcast of the Tyler Daniels Racing Next Gen Cup Series here at Darlington Raceway tonight. Uh, as per usual, we got Josh Kelleher in the booth with us tonight. Josh, how are you doing?
Doing well. Thank you so much, Ethan. Glad to be back here for another week of TDI racing at Darlington. Too tough to tame. We'll see who's going to be on top tonight as the winner. Got 90 tough laps here tonight, and it's going to be exciting to see how it plays out. Love Darlington. Wicked tough track to drive, but once you get it in a groove, it's a whole lot of fun, I think.
Yeah, I definitely think it's one of the toughest tracks on the NASCAR schedule. There's definitely no track like it. I mean, it's distance-wise, it's most comparable to a mile and a half, but there isn't a mile and a half that drives anything like it. There's two different ends to this racetrack. Turns one and two are a little bit more wide sweeping compared to turns three and four that are it's a lot more narrow, tighter turn. And for those that may not know, that the reason that turns three and four are so tight is that because there is a pond back there behind turns three and four, and they were forced to make the turn smaller than they had anticipated. It was going to replicate turn one and two and be symmetrical, but uh, because of that pond, they were forced to have to make changes in order to make it fit within the land that they were working with.
Which I can think is great. If anybody knows me, I'm all about protecting and conserving certain parts of the land. But not only did that, it made Darlington a very unique track. So you get two different turns, and one and two, and three and four. It can be really tricky as we see a whole bunch of cars just sliding coming out of that turn four, turn two coming onto both straightaways.
One thing I've noticed so far is that we're sitting here. It's the 8th of October, and this is actually going to be our second race within the month. But uh, everyone's pretty much familiar at this point that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we're seeing numerous cars out there with sporting pink on their next gen Cup Series cars. A couple that stood out to me so far. We had Jim Downham right here. Got his pink number 28 and pink all along the sides. We've got uh, Andrew Bisnett in the pits right here. Let's see if we can get a better angle. There we go. His pink 69 Camaro. And then I know that we also had Brian Boyd as well, sporting a breast cancer awareness car.
Some more entries just sneaking in as we get and everybody entered and practice runs coming in here at TDR before we get to qualifying in just a little over 10 minutes here. We do have, it's like the Ryan Walters car, 48 DEP Mission 22 Racing out, taking some warm-up laps, along with the 78 Ryan Boyd, sporting his pink Breast Cancer Awareness Month paint scheme. Sharp out there. That pink's really popping. Ryan Walters and Brian Boyd sporting those DEP Racing paint schemes tonight. I'm just scrolling through, taking a look at everybody's paint schemes.
And You'll notice already that we're having a lot of cars get loose on the exits, and
Mhm.
we actually hosted a 2 hour practice session before the official practice session that we're in right now to try to give these guys a little bit of extra time with the difficulty that uh, is going to present itself to them here. And I even jumped in for a little bit, and it is extremely loose, slippery, slideways, whatever term you'd like to use, off of both exits, turn 2 and turn 4. So a lot of throttle control and discipline is going to be needed for these guys if they're going to be able to keep the cars from spinning out, hitting the wall. Hitting the wall is definitely a very common thing here.
Well, you got to earn your Darlington stripe. I mean, if you don't do that, I guess you get razzed on a little bit in the garage in real life, but everybody's got to earn their Darlington stripe every once in a while. You'll see a lot of right sides scuffed up tonight, that's for sure. A lot of buffing out to be done on those virtual paint schemes next week. Some of the practice times coming in, we do have one of the fastest laps, the 11 car of Dustin Scruggs. He pulled in a 29.020, and then not too far back from him, 33 of Devin Zimmerman with a 29.257. Again, a little bit early here in practice, in practice running. So we got some cars still make it, not to make it out here, and some still getting registered for the race. 69 of Andrew Bisnet does have the third fastest with a 29.305. Not that far off from that second place spot.
Those are definitely some really fast times at 20. Those top three, the 29.0, 29.2, and 29.3. Those are all faster lap times than what we saw in the practice session before this one. Granted, I think that session, it was a little bit earlier in the day, and now we're, here we're more at sunset, so the track's probably a little bit cooler, but still really, really quick times by those three guys. We also want to take just a quick a quick moment and um, let the for anyone that is familiar with the Valsburg family, big supporters of the stream and TDR. Paul races every now and then. I know it's been a while since Paul's raced, but um, again, he's another big supporter as well. Him and his wife Jess. And we recently heard of a death that was a friend of their family. Believe there was some possible drug abuse or as and potential suicide attempts involved in that whole scenario, and we won't go into too many details on that situation, but obviously at least wanted to reach out and let them know that we're thinking about their family and the family of the victims, or victim I should say. My apologies on that. And obviously, if that's something that anyone's having issues with in their own life, there's people that you can go and talk to. There are definitely resources out there. Just don't ever be that's one thing you gotta learn in life. Don't ever be ashamed to ask for help if you need it.
There are plenty of resources out there for things like that. And the quickest and easiest way that you can get help usually is through a lot of people will call like the angel number, like 611, where they can get you help, and well, not 811, but there's other ones as well, other than 911. But of course, if you're ever in an emergency situation, you can call 911. They would be more than happy and to get some help out there. But there are angel programs out there, anonymous programs too, that you can just call and talk to somebody. You can get yourself registered for help. You can do it all on your own. You can usually do it from your phone. So don't be ashamed. Get out there. If you need help, don't be ashamed to do it.
You see here the number 11 car that we just came off of turn two there, Dustin Scruggs, who has the fastest lap time so far, is going to be a first time driver for this season in the Next Gen Cup Series. He doesn't have a ton of experience in these cars, but he has a ton of experience in iRacing and knows how to go fast, so fully expect to see him do quite well.
Another new face out here as well. So we got the 74 car entry of Chris Jordan making an entry here into TDR racing at Darlington tonight.
Yeah, about 2 minutes left in practice, and it looks like right now we got a total of 15 entries for tonight's race. Still a little bit of time for some people to possibly sneak in here.
Practice session wore on. I was keeping an eye on it. Looks like a lot of cars were getting a little bit more comfortable with the exits of the turns. They're even a little more easy on the throttle, I guess, coming out of them as the sun started setting and the track cooled down. So hopefully they'll get a grip on it for a green flag coming up here in less than 10 minutes. See the double O, Will Weiser, throwing his name into the mix for some fast laps with a 29.097. So right on the heels of the 11 of Dustin Scruggs for the fastest lap during practice.
And
Practice is over.
that concludes the practice session. We'll be moving on to qualifying now. Everyone will get 10 laps to put down their fastest time possible. Everyone will get 2 laps to do so within that 10-minute time frame. And we can pull up the results from practice here. As we get Dustin Scruggs putting down the fastest lap at a 29.020. Will Weiser second fastest. Devin Zimmerman third. Andrew Bisnet fourth. Jeremy Gaiman rounding out the top five. Ryan Walter sixth. Brian Boyd seventh. Jim Downham eighth. Tom Rule ninth. Jay Downham 10th. Bob Burlew in 11th, Chris Jordan 12th, Tracy Wooten 13th, Mike Matherly 14th, David Tremblay 15th, who did not get a time in just yet, and Toby Collins in 16th again, also didn't get a chance to put a time in. But I think I would definitely expect David to be somewhere up there in that top 5 to top 7 range on speed.
A lot of fast cars. Qualifying is going to be really, really fun and interesting for me because there's a lot of fast cars out there. A lot of people do like starting from the back and making their way up to the front, but there's going to be some heavy, fierce competition tonight. I'm looking forward to some qualifying runs. Fastest so far is Ryan Walter, 29.605. Jay Downham bringing up the second P2 spot, 30.166. Still a bunch of cars haven't gone out yet, so we'll see where they'll all fare out at the end of the 10-minute mark, with just under 8 minutes to go.
And things that have to be remembered is that it's really easy to hit the wall here. So if you get a 0x by hitting the wall, then that time for that lap is disallowed. So there's a fine line between pushing it and then pushing it too far and not even getting a qualifying time in.
I think if I was racing tonight, I'd probably not qualify, forfeit that hard charger award, and start from the back because I have a feeling attrition may be a little bit of a game tonight. Here in the beginning stages, once everybody's getting comfortable, it'll be, I think, not a war of attrition so much in the later parts of the race, but only 90 laps, so it's going to be hot and heavy probably for the first 5. I would say they'd probably get single file quick, but who's to say? We'll see. A lot of fast cars tonight.
And we saw Dustin came really close, to cracking a 28-second lap, and be real interesting to see if he's able to get any faster than he was in practice. Obviously, we're a little bit later into the day now. Maybe possible that the track temp has come down just a little bit more. Typically helps with speeds picking up.
Yeah, as it's setting, I did notice during practice we were roughly around 79 degrees. It's cooled down. Track temperature's about 75
Oh,
degrees.
and Dustin got really loose off of the corner.
I hate to see that. Maybe he can get it back together.
And this was on his first lap, so he will have one more opportunity. Gets off the turn 2 clean this time. Looks clean off of turn 4. Let's see what kind of time he gets. Top of the board, 29.26.
Say hello to some people out there in YouTube land. We got Chris Harmon saying good luck, guys, to all the drivers out there tonight. Got Tina Miller saying let's have a great race. Go D-Zim. So she's pulling for D-Zim out there. Fan of the 33 car, Devin Zimmerman.
anyone that's been racing around TDR for a little while, you know when you see David Tremblay, because I think David Tremblay's had the same paint scheme since the first time I ever ran with him in that orange Bitcoin machine. Slots himself into the sixth position on his first lap. Or I take that back, that was his second lap. I think he's going to stay out and get some extra practice since he was late getting here.
Putting in the time. Love seeing that.
Devin Zimmerman is out now, getting his lap. Oh, and he gets into the wall going in between 3 and 4, so that's going to hurt his first lap and possibly even his second lap. He won't be quite as fast. And that first lap actually was disallowed for hitting the wall. Looks like he's going to put a clean one down right here. Falls into the fifth position with a 29.63. No, that wasn't the lap time that he would have liked to have put down, I'm sure, but still going to have a decent starting position there. From the top 5, we've got 4 drivers that have yet to put down a qualifying lap, one of them being Will Weiser, who we would anticipate will not be putting a qualifying lap, as he usually does not.
Possibly Mike Matherly as well, going to
And
stay.
now with less than 2 minutes to go, I think it's fair to say that these guys are electing not to qualify.
Taking their provisional, as we would used to say back in the 90s.
So we'll take this time to let everyone have an update on the points situation. After 4 weeks, the points have been adjusted to include the stage points and bonus points from last week, and Will Weiser currently at the top of the standings at 160 points, with Devin Zimmerman in second, not far behind, only 5 points back. Brian Boyd in the third spot, 148 points. Ryan Walter, 135 in fourth. Andrew Bisnet rounding out the top 5 with 134. And it is the top 16 drivers that make the playoffs. So if we come down a little bit more, we'll see right now the bubble between Tracy Wooten and Casey Wynn. There's a 9-point gap right there currently. And Tracy is here tonight, but so far no Casey Wynn. So that's going to help Tracy tonight. And we also have Jay Downham tied with Casey. Jay is here tonight, so Jay's going to be trying to close that gap a little bit on Tracy. We got Jay Downham saying go Jim Downham. Now we just need
Family support. Love it.
now we just need Jim to say go Jay. All right, qualifying has concluded. The field's getting gridded up, so we'll go through our starting order and our race info. Josh, you want to take us through the starting order?
Listen, I got you, Ethan. Taking the pole tonight. We've got Casey Wynn, 160 points. Ryan Walter, 135 in fourth. Andrew Bisnet rounding out the top 5 with 134. Number 11 car, Dustin Scruggs. Starting right beside him in P2, we got Jeremy Gaiman. Ryan Walters taking up the P3 spot with Brian Boyd in the 4th spot in that 78 breast cancer awareness car. 33 of David Zimmerman taking the P5 spot with the 69 of Andrew Biznett in P6. 7th position goes to David Trumley in that 96 car, and 38 of Jay Dowman is in the P8 spot. Jim Downham pulling up the 9th position with Thomas Rule in that 79 car, coming in the 10th position. Bob Rilou taking P11 alongside the 27 of Tracy Wooten in the 12 car. The 00 of Will Weiser in the 13th spot with the 24 of Toby Collins. 21 of Mike Mallory in the 15th. I think I got a little mixed up there. Christopher Jordan is in 14th. And then the last car in the field holding up the rear, we got Toby Collins in the 24 car, as we are about to take a couple pace laps behind the iRacing pace car. And Darlington.
So
And we're getting moving here.
tonight's race info here for Darlington. It's a 1.31 mile oval configuration racetrack. We've got temperature 74 degrees for the track temperature, so definitely not too hot, but they're still going to be slick out there for sure. 90 lap race. The pit window, they got about 75 laps worth of fuel in those tanks, but I mean, with a 90 lap race, if we go green, we expect to see them pit probably about halfway through. Obviously, cautions will change that strategy if we get some of those. Pit road speed 45 miles an hour, unlimited sets of tires in the pits, and everyone will get one fast repair.
Taking a look through the field, looks like we got one car deciding to start from the pits. Might be a good decision on the first lap here. The 74 Christopher Jordan electing to start from the pits. The green flag drops.
Dustin with a decent start going down into turn one is able to get up in front of Jeremy Gaiman. Brian Boyd slotted into third, and we're pretty much single file all the way back through the field. Quick. We got Brian Boyd, Jeremy Gaiman. Brian's able to get by Jeremy, get that second position. We know from past races, Brian's very much aggressive early in these runs, tries to get as much as he can in the beginning. And he gets very loose. Can he save it? Ooh, really good job of saving that. We got numerous cars. We got Jay spinning into the inside wall. He's around.
Backwards, tag the wall.
But it was a one-car incident, so we will stay green.
No yellow. Or no yellow, still green, I mean. Sorry about that, everybody back at home. Looks like Jay may have gotten, that 38 car may have gotten a meatball flag. He may have to pit. Yeah, it looks like his right rear is just bent out, so he might have to go down and take a fast repair or some optionals.
But we saw numerous cars all getting sideways off of that, and that was definitely one heck of a save by Brian. Did not hit anything, kept his car clean.
Old tires will do that here. Once you got to get them warmed up, and they'll start getting really grippy here. But the first couple laps, you got to take it really easy and gingerly here.
Devin Zimmerman looking to the inside of Ryan Walter for the third position.
It does look like the 38 of Jay Downham will take a fast repair and some right side tires, left side tires, and he'll get back underway.
David Trumley going to the inside of Ryan Walter. Oh, it looks like we got a crash
28 is around.
from Jim.
28 was around.
We see we got Will Weiser in the 00, Jim in the Downham in the 28, Brian Boyd in the 78, and let's get an idea for what happened here. You can already see that Jim was getting loose, and it looks like he's gonna come down and gets into Brian Boyd.
Yeah, I got loose right in front of him, and then Brian tried to. Looked like Brian tried to get around him on the inside, but it just wasn't enough room, and he did get
And
tagged there.
looks like Jim just barely taps the inside wall, and Brian appeared to get into the outside wall just a little bit, and hopefully it wasn't anything too bad
I think
to
Brian's going to
where,
come down. Brian Boyd, the 78 car, is going to come down into the pits. Take a look
and
at the damage he might have gotten.
we'll take a little look here at Brian's pit stop and see if we can't get an idea.
Well, other cars coming down as well. The '09 is coming down. I see the '09 of Jeremy Gaiman coming down pit road, along with David Trumbley. Ryan Walters of the 49 DEP Mission 22 cars decided to come down pit road as well. Andrew Bissonnette.
Mostly looks like Brian's got cosmetic damage on that side of the car, so hopefully that means that he's not going to have too much to have to sit there and get repairs for. As we see, like you said, we have 5 takers on pit road,
Yeah, some tires. I see 4 sides going on to 69.
and we got everybody away. Brian Boyd didn't elect to stay any longer to get any kind of optional repair, so it must not be too bad.
Ryan Walters coming off pit road, blending back into the racing surface, as well as David Trumbley. Looked like David Trumbley had taken 4 tires on that pit stop really early on here. Taking a look, got some more cars coming down. The 21 and the 27 elected to come down pit road as well.
Dustin Scruggs will still be our leader. Devin Zimmerman has worked his way up to second, and Will Weiser all the way up to the 3rd position. He's gained 10 spots already.
Looks like the 27 will also take some tires. 21 might be taking some tires here as well. A lot of action going down on pit road. It was hard to keep track of it all going through the cycles here. Some early pit stops here at Darlington in the TDR race. 90 laps here at Darlington tonight. We have 8 coming up on 9 laps. This one under 9th lap will be under caution here. Lights have come off on the pace car, so we got 1 lap to go before we go back to green flag racing here.
I mentioned Dustin being one of the guys that's not uh, in this series not too often, but uh, completely missed the fact that we've got Tom Rule here in the 79. He's another driver we don't typically see here in the Next Gen Cup Series, but a very familiar face to the Tyler Daniels Racing League.
The field's going into 3. Coming back down to take the green flag to start lap 10 of 90. here at virtual Darlington. Green flags dropped.
I think the
And the
top
38's elected to drop out and go back to the back.
top three are gonna settle out and run single file.
Not too much side-by-side action going on, but that's probably a smart idea here. It's really narrow on the turns in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You do get some width on these straightaways, but coming up out of each of
Oh,
those exits,
David Trumbley gets
he's around, backed up in the
goes
wall.
around. Caution has come out. Now I thought that was just David spinning on his own, but the fact that we got a yellow for that makes me think that there may have been a little bit of help from Ryan Walter here. So you can see here that David was already losing it before. Yeah, and there was a little bit of contact, so Ryan definitely finished him off.
Darlington's just one of those tracks where you got to have a lot of give and take here. I mean, if you're gonna I would let someone pass me here and then worry about catching up to them when they burn their tires off in a few laps or so. You got to have a little bit of patience here at Darlington. You got to have a lot more give and take than patience, but it doesn't look like there was too much give and take there. Some more cars electing to come back down pit road, probably to top off.
Looks like the 74 of Chris Jordan, 66 of Bob Burlew, Will Weiser in the 00. Interesting little strategies we got going on here.
Paint scheme on that 74 Chris Jordan is just a really, really cool one. I love paint schemes. I'm a paint scheme guy. Some people like the speed, some people like other parts of the car. I love the paint schemes on it. You can just sit there and not even move and look fast, and I'll love it.
Darlington is where we have the NASCAR holds its throwback series race, honoring a lot of the really good paint schemes and drivers of the past. So if we we take another look there at Chris Jordan's car, it's definitely a very throwback-esque type paint scheme. Average
You can
Joe's
dodge a wreck, you
Gym.
can dodge a ball. Average Joe's Gym. That's a great one.
For those that are familiar with the movie Dodgeball. As the field gets gridded up, 2 by 2. Looks like we'll go green this time.
Lights are coming back off the pace car again. See if we can get some green flag laps going here. I can only imagine what the configuration would have been like had they not built around that minnow pond that's here at Darlington. If the 3 and 4 would feel a lot like 1 and 2, or with over time, had it settled, would it have been still a little bit different? It just would have been different to see, but instead we get that tight turns.
I think
3 and 4.
I think in many ways it ended up being a blessing in disguise.
Absolutely. Whereas you can drive it hard going into 1 and 2, you can let off a little later in the throttle, you can't do so much of that in 3 and 4. I found myself spinning around many times in the truck race I ran this past week here at Darlington. Pace cars coming down the backstretch with those lights off means that we are going green next time by. 15 laps of 90 down already here. TDR racing at Darlington on a Sunday night. Glad you could all tune in. Don't forget to hit the subscribe, hit that like, share it. You can even get notifications when we go live here at ET Drone Home Gaming on YouTube. Pace cars dipped off. We're going green. I think we're going to see a lot of single file forming going here. Yeah, as I'm saying that, it's a lot of single file. Everybody's just accepting to get into that single file line to be patient here. Everybody knows those turns are coming out of those exits are real tricky.
Yeah, there's just not a lot of real estate on the exit on either end of the racetrack, so being side by side is not exactly where you want to be. If you're going to make the pass, you really want to have completed it before the exit.
It's also a true test of finding out where your car is comfortable, because you can run a low line. A lot of cars like to run that high line next to the wall. A lot of cars are just getting wiggly and can't find out what line they can
As you
run.
can see, Thomas Rule being one of those ones that just got into the wall. He's in it again.
Yeah, 21 of Tracy Wooten also gave a little tag up to the wall and earned a Darlington stripe already tonight. Be nice to know. Are we using fifth gear here in the car? Or are you just using that sequential and staying in fourth to get around? As I see another car here in the wall, try to get a beat on that real quick.
It's like Tom Rule again. From the practice session, I can tell you that these guys are most certainly in fifth gear. Some may choose to downshift into 4 and turn 3 and 4, but if you try to stay in fourth gear, you will hit that rev limiter down the front stretch, so being in fifth gear is pretty much going to be a must.
That is a good bit of information. I haven't run too many next-gen races here at Darlington.
It's like,
There are a handful of trucks and quite a few Xfinity.
and speaking of a handful, Tom Rule is just really struggling right now. We've seen him in the wall a couple times. He almost spun out there off of turn 4, but he's still up and going at the moment. In fact, this 3-car battle between Mike Matherly, Chris Jordan, and Tracy Wooten, that was all for the 11th position, as now we look at these two DEP racing cars battling for the 4th position. Brian Boyd, Ryan Walter. Andrew Bisnett looking on from behind in the 6th place position. Tom Rule has crashed.
Oh boy. That guy's in a single car.
That's what it appears to be. We'll take a quick look and see what happened to Tom. So we see him on the apron going to pit road. Oh, and he missed the entrance and got into those barriers. Puts it in reverse and gets it back going onto the pit lane. Our closest battle right here, Will Weiser and David Trumley.
David likes to take that high line. Will's trying to go down the low line, so it's going to be interesting to see where that pass may happen. Looks like Will's just going to fall back behind him and just ride around for a little bit. They pass that car, Tom Rule is creeping by on the inside. And takes a look on the inside of the 96 in turn 3 and 4. That could be really tricky to try to make a pass there. And they are closing down the back bumper of Brian Boyd.
You see Will keep trying that bottom line in 3 and 4, and it can be really tough to get a run down the front stretch by running that low. I think we should take a look at our leader. So we see we had one car. Tom Rule crashed once again into the inside wall in the back straightaway.
Looks like he towed it out, so we won't have to worry about a caution from here.
So here we are on board with our leader, Dustin Scruggs, and give you guys an idea what it takes to get around this place. So we see here on the front stretch to start this lap, you see he gets out of the throttle and lets it run up towards the top of the track. It'll be in the throttle, and you'll see here he's going to get back out of it right here and then back in it again. There's no other track where you're in the throttle, out of the throttle, in the throttle, out of the throttle like that in order to make the turn. And then this side, it's just you're out of the throttle and then you're just easy on it all the way until you're able to reestablish, get the nose pointed, and get back going.
I have to say the closest battle right now is 4th, 5th, and 6th place. They're all bunched up out of car length behind each other. And they are battling for position. Got Brian Boyd looking on the inside of Biznat. Oh, sorry, the 09 of Jerry Gaiman. They were passing him. It was almost bad news going into 3 and 4 there. They almost brought a few wide. Seems everybody's straightening themselves out. Oh, we got a car hitting the inside, hitting the wall, the inside retaining wall. Looks like that was the 27 of Tracy Wooten that has spun and tagged the inside retaining wall. He makes his way back to the pit. Just okay. We'll get some attention from the pit crew service. So leader's coming up on lap traffic now as well, so he'll have some fighting to do around some traffic. Heck of a gap between first and second, about a little over 3 seconds. Over 3 seconds to the third place behind that. You see the 11 does get by the 74. Chris Jordan puts that 74 lap down.
Three-car battle back here between Will Weiser, David Trumbley, Andrew Bisnet.
The 69 car gets a heck of a run going into the turn, but then loses the momentum coming out. Looks like Tom Rule has disconnected and brought it to the garage area. Is going to load it up on the hauler and get an early start out of here.
So we see this battle continue between Brian and Ryan. Jeremy's been able to pull away a little bit.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a gap, not too much, but just a little less than a second of a gap between them. About 5 car lengths in between Jeremy Gateman and Brian Boyd, but Ryan Walters is putting the heat on the back bumper of that 78. Taking a look on the inside now. Looks like they'll just fall back in going into the turn. Maybe set them up on the straight.
Oh, big lick on the outside wall, Jeremy Gaiman. It's going to allow Brian to take to the outside and get around. Jeremy falls in between the two. But he struggles to get off the corner. Ryan Walter looking...
Ryan Walter get on the outside, yeah.
Not quite able to get there. Question is, how much damage did Jeremy get from that? It's definitely a really hard hit.
Seems like he's still a bit loose coming out of the turns now, so maybe he does have a little bit of toe issues with the car after tagging the wall there. Yeah, it looks like he hit the wall again. Looks like that did allow Brian to put some distance in between them. Ryan Walters is having a little bit of difficulty trying to get around the 09.
A little bit of contact there once again.
It's going to allow 49 to Ryan Walters and the 00 Will Weiser to make a pass on Jeremy Gaiman, who was looking real strong here for a while, but it does look like that he is falling back. He may have some damage to that car that is affecting the performance.
Taking a look here at our second place driver here, Devin Zimmerman. Having a really good run. Although he's currently 5 seconds back to our leader, Dustin, who's putting in the work tonight. And believe it or not, Dustin has only run a handful of races in this car. But like as mentioned before, Dustin's has a very high I rating, and just shows that doesn't matter what he gets in, he's going to be fast. A little bit of contact there. Devin in the wall, getting his Darlington stripe if he hadn't already gotten one.
Sure, a lot of these cars already have their Darlington stripes after the end of tonight. Big battle going on here between the 78, 49 double O's looking on the inside of the 49 of Ryan Walters and the 96
And
right
this,
behind them on their tails.
and we saw how much of a gap that Brian had on these guys. So I don't know if maybe Brian got into the wall or he's into the wall just a little bit there. He's going to lose 2 positions to Will and David Trumbley.
Tires, I wonder if tire wear is starting to become a factor now as we are 40, almost halfway here at Darlington. TDR Next Gen Racing on a Sunday night. Thanks for tuning in.
So this is the last lap of the stage, our one and only stage. We will not be throwing a caution at the end of it. Every week to stay green. Top 10 will get points. So Dusty goes across the line and wins the stage, getting the extra 10 bonus points. You see Devin Zimmerman crossed in second, Will Weiser third, David Trumbley fourth, Brian Boyd fifth, Ryan Walter sixth, Andrew Bisnet seventh, Jeremy Gaiman eighth, Jim Downham coming across now for ninth, and Bob Burlew 10th will get that last bonus point.
Double O's gotten around everybody. He is just taking a commanding lead over those 3 other cars that they were just having a great battle about 2 laps ago. 96 pulled away as well. 78, 49 have found themselves battling back and forth for that 5th and 6th spot.
And so far, these 2 guys can't quite get enough of each other. Even when Brian was able to get away, they managed to be within car lengths of each other once again. We have started to see some of our first pit stops now that we've gotten to the halfway point, and Andrew Bisnet has gone into the pits, Jeremy Gaiman. We fully expect to see more here very soon. Those guys coming out, getting the tires first. They might be able to gain some positions. We see Ryan Walter, he's coming down on the pit road. It's not the easiest one to get to, so looks like he does a good job. We'll be keeping an eye to see when the rest of our field goes to get their pit stops.
Yeah, that's a tight turn coming out 4 there to get onto pit road. I find myself eating the wall a few times myself in the past here at Darlington.
Dustin Scruggs, our leader. Devin Zimmerman as well in second on pit road. Will Weiser going to the lead. David Trumbley and Brian Boyd now the top 3.
A lot of you guys electing to come in a little past halfway, so we'll see how many are going to push those tires and see if that strategy will work out for them.
Now, if you're going to stay out on old tires, I feel like you're really hoping that you'd be lucky and get a caution, because otherwise you're just losing time to those leaders that when they come out on those fresh tires.
I agree. a little bit of lull in the action. I'll take a moment to say hi to Mrs. Daniels, Tyler's mom. Hope she's watching the race. Hope you're having a great weekend.
We got Random chiming in the chat saying shout out to the boy Sparky, knows his way around a pit stop.
I think that shout out would probably, I think Sparky was the 49, Orion Walters is a nickname. Random pulling for the 49, Orion Walters. Paul Bosberg saying, let's go Boyd. We're pulling for the 78 of Brian Boyd.
Jim Downham going on to pit road from his 5th place position. Currently only 4 cars on the lead lap.
There's only a less than a second gap between first and second, but between second and third is 3.4. Then everybody after that. That's the 4th place car now goes a lap down. I'm seeing 3 cars now in the lead lap, and those are the 3 cars that have not pit yet. So I'm sure we'll be seeing them come in soon. It'll cycle around.
It seems like Will Weiser is just going to run this thing dry. Playing a different strategy. Hoping that he can get a caution.
I have to say, Trumbley and Boyd probably thinking the same thing. They're just staying out with him.
Yeah, I feel like you're pretty much committed at this point. I mean, the only thing that Trumbley and Boyd can do at this point is pit before Will and try to, you know, pass Will and get that position from him. But as far as being able to gain any time on the leader, that opportunity is gone unless they get a caution. Or when I say leader, I'm referring to Dustin Scruggs, who will eventually cycle back to the lead if this is to stay green.
Aaron O'Neill on YouTube saying, hi, gentlemen. Oh, hi, Sharon. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. TET Drone Homes Gaming with Tyler Daniels Racing here at Darlington. Appreciate having you here. Just looked on the inside of the 78 of Brian Boyd and made a pass.
A little bit of flip-flopping on who's been faster here these last 5 laps between Will and David Trumbley. Trumbley gets into the wall there just a little bit, but Will's been a little bit faster than him over the course of 3 out of those 5 last laps. Make that 6 now. And as far as our lap times, Dustin Scruggs just ran a 29:26 to Will Weiser's, or sorry, that's the fastest lap, 29:52 to Will's 30.26. So we're looking at a about 7/10 of a second difference on lap times. Andrew Bisnet here in 8th place. Jim Downham ahead of him, but not. This is not for position, as Jim is slated in the 10th position. And Jim is 3 laps down, if I'm not mistaken.
I'd have to say the 78 of Brian Boyd may come in before Will Weiser and Trumley, because he did come in on lap 6, whereas Weiser and Trumley came in on lap 12, so they do have 6 more laps fresher tires than the 3rd place of Brian. But he is holding his own back there in 3rd place. He's not losing too much time. He is about 7 seconds back of that lead car, Will Weiser.
To kind of give everyone an idea of where, here's Dustin here, and coming off of turn 4, Will Weiser going into turn 1, so Dustin is getting close to being able to get back on the lead lap.
He will have a couple fast cars at 78 of Brian Boyd and the 96 of David Trumley to get around in order to do that, but it seems like he's not really having that much of a problem catching up to him at this point. Does have those fresher tires.
Jeremy Gaiman into the wall. Sometimes it's just like glue when you get up there, it's hard to get off.
Find yourself just stuck to it, slowing down. You won't be able to get off until you get to the straightaway, and even sometimes even shifting downshifting doesn't even help. You just get stuck to that wall. 33 did make that pass easily on the inside of 78 of Brian Boyd, so he is catching ground on that 00 Will Weiser. He's got to pass the 96 next.
Will's just gonna go ahead and let Dustin get by. Obviously he knows that it's no contest right now as far as the tire situation between these two. And Will now puts, Dale, gosh, Dustin, I'll get his name right in a minute. Dustin now puts himself back on the lead lap. We don't really have too many battles here at the moment. So we can go, we'll just go ahead and go through the field as it is right now, with Will Weiser currently in 1st place, still having to make his pit stop. David Trumley on that same strategy in 2nd. Brian Boyd in 4th. Or 3rd, my mistake. The last driver still having to make a pit stop for fuel. Dustin Scruggs in 4th place. Devin Zimmerman rounding out the top 5.
He would be the lucky dog if the yellow came out, being the first car there on a lap down. He did pit on lap 50, so he's got plenty of time, got plenty of fuel to make it all the way to the end.
Ryan
Those
Walter
top 3 still haven't, though.
here in 6th place. Bob Burlew 7th. Andrew Bisnet here in the 8th spot. Jeremy Gaiman rounding out 9 and 9.
28 of Jim Downland's still holding strong there. Everybody else is either disconnected due to attrition or just...
Jim Downham looking real focused, you know, but not so focused that he can't take a moment and get rid of that itch he had on his nose.
38th of Jay Dowman's still running. He's in 11th. 21 of Mike Matherly is showing 6 laps down. And 12th, 27 of Tracy Wooten in 13th. Yeah, looks like the last of the running order here. 74 of Chris Jordan result in a 14th place finish here. Tom Rule, I think he'll get a 15th, and Toby Collins 16th. So 3 cars have packed it up and put everything on the hauler to head up out of here. Still 13 cars running at Darlington. One just seemed to think when they did last hit lap 6 for Brian Boyd and lap 12 for Trumbley and Weiser, do they think they have enough to make it the whole way? And there's only 13 laps left here.
Now we know that Will Pitt at lap 12. It's gonna put him really close, actually, to being able to get to the end. We're really gonna have to keep an eye on that. David Tremblay on that same strategy. Brian Boyd pit on lap 6. So he shouldn't have enough. Will Weiser, on the other hand, he actually may have enough. We were thinking that he was gonna have to pit, but you sit here and you try to do the math. It's with the caution laps, they very well may have enough.
I'm showing an 8-second gap between second place 96 of David Trumbley and the 00 Will Weiser, and then third place behind that. 12 seconds behind second place, so laps winding down. I'm not sure if there's enough time for those 2 cars to catch the 00 Will Weiser.
Now 9 laps to go. And if he needed to save any at this point, he would definitely have plenty of, comfortability to be able to do so with that lead. 9 seconds now. Dustin Scruggs working to get around Brian Boyd. Getting into the wall there just a little bit.
That would be a battle for position. As he gets loose, allows Brian Boyd to make another pass for him on the outside. Lap traffic and slowly 11 down, try to get around that. 78 of Brian Boyd for third place.
Looks like the 27 car of Tracy Wooten has crashed, but it looks to be a single car incident.
Doesn't bring out the yellow here at TDR.
As Dustin goes by the 78 of Brian Boyd for the third position. I will say I'm surprised. I really didn't think that Brian would be able to make it here to the end unless something happens. Oh, he gets into the wall quite a bit there.
Yeah, one would have to think that those tires are screaming right now. And he's just doing everything he can about to hold on these last laps here at Darlington. It doesn't seem to be slowing Will Weiser in that double low down, as there's now a 10-second gap in between him and the second place of David Trumley. So unless something, dare I say, catastrophic happened to that double O car, he may just have this race locked in. And the gap just keeps opening up more and more. So I don't think there is quite enough time for that second place of 96 David Trumley to catch the double O Will Weiser. But David Scruggs did pass Brian Boyd about 3 laps ago to take over that third spot that Brian had comfortably held on for, good portion of that green flag run. As we look at the double O coming up on Brian Boyd to make a pass on the inside, it would put Brian Boyd 2 laps down. Or a lap down, sorry. My iRacing had been a little bit laggy from one of the replays I looked at. Sorry about that. Laps winding down here.
Will's coming off of turn 4. He's going to get the white flag right here. Last lap here at Darlington.
Second and third just don't have enough. Makes that final turn. Comes down the front stretch and
Lights
Will
flash
Weiser
for Will Weiser.
will take the checkered flag at Darlington.
Becomes our first repeat winner of the season. David Trumley is going to come across the line in second. Dustin Scruggs here in the third position. And finishes in that spot. Devin Zimmerman fourth. Brian Boyd, I don't know if I think maybe he's run out of gas.
Does look like he might be coasting. Yeah, I think he has.
Or I think that he was a lap down, so he finished. He was just headed to pit road. Yep, that was just about a matter of the fact of where Brian was when Will got the checker. So,
Right.
but Will Weiser
49.
gets it done tonight. We do have the ability to talk to Will. Hey, Will, it's Ethan and Josh in the booth. You got us? Hey, congrats on the win tonight. Obviously you outsmarted the field with that pit strategy there in the beginning on lap 6 and lap 12, giving you enough fuel to make it there to the end. We weren't quite sure if you were going to have to pit again, but obviously there was enough fuel to get there, and you didn't have to save any because you were driving away from the rest of the field. So,
Yeah,
congrats again on that, and good job on the strategy.
yeah. Thanks. I don't remember if I pit on lap 6, but on lap 12, um, I don't know. I knew it was going to be. I mean, obviously it was going to end at night race, so tire wear wasn't going to be a big issue. So that already made staying out for track position less attractive to me. And um, I think originally I thought you could only do 71 on a tank, and um, so I was thinking I got to save 4 laps of fuel. That's no biggie, just because there's a lot of braking on this, or there's a little bit of braking on this track, so there's room to coast in the corners and do less braking. But I think they like try to fake me out with because I thought Devin and Dustin were gonna pit, and then they didn't. But um, yeah, I knew at that point that if it went green, it was gonna be no contest. Although I mean, Trumbley kept up with me for a very long time. I wasn't really holding back. We were driving different lines, which I think ended up wearing his tires a little bit more. But um, yeah, that's about it. I thought I had to save fuel, but I think as the run went on and the lap times got slower, I guess that was that made up for the fuel. But I
Yep.
think Boyd went like 84 laps on his tank. So
Yeah, he pit on lap 6, so he went the farthest of anybody tonight as far as fuel is concerned. We're not quite sure how close he was on that, but
yeah,
we know that we had that caution there around lap 12, which obviously helped with that.
yeah, sure,
But you definitely made the right call. You are now the first repeat winner on the season. Before this, we had 4 races and 4 winners. So,
yeah,
congrats on being the first one of that. And it's definitely nice that we have been having a different winner each week. It shows that so far, it's very competitive so far this season, and hopefully it'll remain that throughout the rest of the season.
for sure. Yeah, definitely. Thanks for the stream, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. You enjoy the rest of your night there.
Yep, see ya.
Right on, Will. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
All right, so we've lost a lot of people as far as being able to chat. So next available, uh, as far as our runners, would be Brian Boyd, who finished in the 5th position. Take it away, Josh.
Brian, buddy, what a run tonight. You were pretty dominant there, hitting on lap 6. We were kind of wondering at the end if you were going to have enough fuel with about 10 laps to go. And it looks like you did have enough fuel. We just didn't have enough tires to get up there at the end. How did the car feel towards the end?
It ran out coming off of between 4 and the finish line. So I let Devin pass me. I was committed to finishing on with no more pit stops.
Yeah, it almost worked out for you, but we were keeping an eye on you there, and they saved the Tatas Car for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Did you do any spinning? Did you feel yourself getting loose at all coming off any of the turns?
Um, Only when I ran fifth, but most of the race I ran fourth gear. I never shifted out of fourth.
So there was another conversation we're having in the booth. I was wondering how many guys were in fourth, if they were using fifth at all or downshifting at all. So it sounds like you were just staying in fourth.
Yeah, and then when I started fuel saving, uh, I went to fifth and just rode. You know what I mean?
It worked out for a great position for you, and it's not being in the podium, but you're still in the contention with the points race. Fifth place is not bad. So congrats on a great run tonight, bud.
Hey, thank you, thank you, thank you. What happened to Trumley? Did you guys not get him up here?
Uh, we
Miles.
David Trumbley and Devin Zimmerman both left out of Discord pretty quick, so we weren't able to grab them before they left out.
That's too bad. That's too bad. Those guys ran good races.
Sure did. Man, their strategy was great too. So it was a fun, exciting race to watch everybody to see how all their pit strategies would play out with the early ones and then the late pit strategies. So
I didn't know Will Weiser and them pitted a second time, and because I was sitting there thinking, well, if I can get far enough ahead of everybody and still save fuel and not pit at all, it could get interesting for me toward the end of the race. But oh well.
well, it was definitely interesting at the end, that's for sure. Because I was thinking fuel strategy and tires. They had the last 10 laps.
Yeah, I definitely was savings. I was saving hard the last 5 laps because at that point I was committed to not pitting.
Well, still, you did a great job with a P5 position, so you should still be proud of that. And you had some people shouting out for you in the YouTube land. So congrats on a good job tonight, Brian.
Hey, appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, good job, Brian. I know it's not a track that you definitely are too fond of, but obviously being able to get a top five, I'm sure, is uh, more than sufficient for what you were hoping to get out of this tonight. And you got some stage points, got a good finish, so that'll keep you up there towards the top of the list for the season standings.
Yes, sir. I was especially expecting a rough finish because I had to use my quick repair on lap 6 because I had right rear wheel damage from where Jim got sideways, no fault of his own. He just got loose, and his front end hit my right rear and instantly triggered wheel damage. So
Yeah, it's interesting that you said that because after that, I was looking at his car because his right wheel was all bent in and almost crab walking as well. So I'm sorry to see that both you guys had gotten some damage from that.
I thought I had him cleared at first, but it is what it is. Huh.
Decent deal.
I'll take my finish and hold my head high because I'm not real good at this track. So fifth is a good start to finishing well.
You did well tonight, Brian. Great job again.
Hey, thank you guys.
All right, well we can try to grab the head honcho. Jim, you still hanging around?
Yes, I am.
Hey,
All right.
so we wanted to grab you before we sign off for the night. I know we didn't get a chance to talk to you at all today, but
Yeah.
how did you feel about tonight? I know it may have not been quite the finish you wanted to get, but still in the top 10, so not too shabby.
Yeah, I mean, I just tried to run some safe laps and just take care of the car. And I was hoping for the later caution, but it never happened. But I was short on fuel, so I had to pit anyway. So, because I was running fourth gear, didn't realize it until about halfway through the run, realizing that I was like a gallon short. So I figured, well, you got to pit. So, but no, I'll take it. I mean, 10th is better than last, you know. And got a couple of points for stage. So yeah, it was a decent night for me. I'm happy with it for Darlington.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, obviously this is no easy track to get around, so anytime
Yeah,
that you can get as many points as possible, obviously, you got to be happy with it.
yeah. No, I'm very happy with it. Like I said, we could have done a couple better, but a couple guys pitted early and they stayed out, and like Brian ran out of gas coming off turn four. If the top three would have pitted, if they didn't stay out, then it would have changed the whole dynamics of the race for everybody. But good job to them. They did what they had to do, and it was a great race overall. So
How dare you, Jim, do that admin penalty on me though, and take my quick repair early in the race?
yeah, I didn't mean to do that. We got a
I
little loose
know
coming off, and I
it's
looked down, and
Darlington,
there you
brother.
were. So I apologize for that. And yeah,
No, it's Darlington. You can't apologize for something you can't control.
yeah,
Darlington's rough, man.
yeah. So, but yeah, it's Darlington. You got to race the track, you know, um, and do your best. Getting around lap cars were, kind of tricky. So, but you guys drive it, you know it. So yeah, congratulations to Will on the win, and top 10 did really good. So happy with it.
I think everybody did really good because we only had one caution that whole race.
Yeah, yeah, two. wasn't it?
You?
Yeah,
two.
you
Yeah.
and me, and then David Trumbley and Ryan.
Okay. Well, still, that's
Yeah,
not bad, dude.
no, no, not at all. You know.
Guys
Uh,
in this league are these guys are learning and they're coming a long ways.
yep, yep. So, yeah, I'm figuring out the stage points right now. So,
Well,
500 for me.
yeah.
we thank you guys for chatting with us. We're gonna go ahead and get the rest of this broadcast wrapped up,
Yeah.
and we will see you guys next week.
All right. Thanks for the broadcast, guys. Appreciate it.
Yep, no problem.
For what you do.
Yeah,
Okay.
thanks, guys.
All right.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having us here.
All right, everybody, that does conclude the TDR Next Gen Cup Series at Darlington for this evening. And next week, the TDR Next Gen Cup Series will be at Kansas Motor Speedway on October 15th. Stream will be going live at 8:10 or 8:10, 8 o'clock. Same time, same place here as always. And if you aren't already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that way you'll get the notification on when we go live. As far as the rest of the schedule this week for ET Drone Home Gaming, tomorrow we got in-car truck action in the iRacing Warrior Motorsports League. And again, that's their truck series. And that is going to be at Michigan International Speedway. Tuesday, we head back to TDR for the TDR Truckin' Tuesday series, and that is going to be the first race of the playoffs. So that should be exciting. It's going to kick off at Dover. And then Tuesday is also part of our new Two Truck Tuesday theme, and will be in the Grassroots Racing Series after the TDR Truckin' Tuesday race, and that's at North Wilkesboro.
I'll be joining you in that race in my number 73 Craftsman truck for that race.
Certainly look forward to racing with you, Josh. And then
We'll be
Wednesday,
there for North Wilkesboro, I believe, for the
yep,
grassroots racing, I believe.
yep, North Wilkesboro. And then Wednesday, uh, unless something changes, will be the season opener of the season 8 for TDR
Yeah.
Wednesday night Xfinity series. The schedule has not been released yet, so we're still waiting on that, assuming that it's going to come out here in the next day or two. Is something that Jim is working on, and if it doesn't come out this week, then we'll have a week off and we'll be back at it the following Wednesday night. But
So that's a new season you're saying, Ethan?
Wednesday night will be the first race of season 8. We
Oh
concluded
boy.
season 7 last week,
Right.
so fresh
All
start
right.
for everybody.
Sounds like
So
my Wednesday nights might be booked up.
definitely be happy to have you out there with us. And anybody that's listening, looking for somewhere to race, and lots of opportunities to race throughout the week with TDR or any of these other leagues that you may hear me talking about. So all you gotta do is reach out, and we'll get you situated. But again, that concludes everything for tonight. Thank you so much, everybody. Always appreciate all the people chiming in, comments, subscribes, likes, all that good stuff. Means a lot. Thanks, Josh, for coming in. Always enjoy having you up here. Means a lot. Help the broadcast go smoothly.
Oh, no worries. I like being up here with you. It's fun to do, and you're great company, and I appreciate you guys giving me the chance again to be up here and do this for y'all. Thanks so much.
Yep, not a problem. All right, everybody, that's it, and we'll see you all tomorrow night for some in-cockpit truck racing at Michigan International Speedway. Have a good night, everybody.